Blast off.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to the Hentai Literature Club. I'm your host, the Hentai Literature Club president, Josh. No,
I'm not going to flash peace signs at the camera. Sorry.
Did you forget your name for a second?
No, I was like, how should I address myself? No. I don't want to pick anything too militaristic after all. And I have with me the usual suspects to talk to me about hentai here on our second season of the Hentai Literature Club.
This is just a whole setup so you can talk about porn without it being weird, isn't it?
I mean, there's plenty of... You saw what happened on episode 0. There were so many people who either private messaged or comment, and they were like, finally, somebody who wants to talk about porn seriously.
Yeah, sure.
And so for those of you who don't know, this is the second season of the Hentai Literature Club where we're focusing on artists. Today's a little different than just talking about artists because we're only going to talk about one work by one artist. However, the work is named after the artist, so if anything, this is an exemplary work by them. That artist is Mizuryu Kei. What did you say his name translated to? Or their name? I don't know if it's a man or a woman.
Waterfall or something like that? Or falling water or something with water.
Water dragon, I think is what Charlie said.
Okay, well, Mizu literally means water. Ryu is dragon. I don't know what the fuck Kei is. So it's entirely possible that when placed together like that, it could be something else.
Possibly.
Yeah, but the work we're talking about is the first chapter or the first night of their seminal work, Mizuryukei Land.
Necromancer and Daestra. Hello.
Oh, they're here. Hello, everyone.
I
Burn
haven't
the
got the chat
witches.
up yet, but hello, friends.
Oh, cool.
Move
Now
it
it's
from
actually showing the chat this
Top
time.
chat to, not top chat, to
Live chat.
live chat.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I want.
All messages.
All hail the guru. Hell yeah, we're going to be playing werewolf soon. But no, that's not what we're talking about this time. We're not getting distracted.
We'll get into bestiality next time.
I actually have seen a hentai.
Again with the bestiality.
They weren't here for that joke. But yeah, we're talking about the work Mizuryukei Land by Mizuryu Kei. But not only that, we're comparing and contrasting it to the animated version of the work, which I'm not sure which studio did it. I probably should have researched that, but such is life.
We have the internet.
Yeah. So, Xavier, I think you're the only one other than me who knew who Mizuryu Kei was. What can
That
you
is
tell?
not true.
Oh, you knew Mizuryu Kei as well.
We both did.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Mizuryukei Land before?
I'd seen it twice before.
Well, I feel left out.
Oh,
And now it's the third time.
Normie!
Well, it's a very popular hentai work, at least in the animated sphere. But Mizuryu Kei was like a very prodigious ero-manga artist. Because he's known for the Mizuryukei Land series. He's also known for like that. It's like a series about like a really lewd family, where like the mother and the daughters like sleep with everybody, every man they can,
Yes, yeah,
and
yeah.
they steal men from each other.
Xavier, that's a question I feel you're best suited to answer. So is there much bestiality in hentai?
Is there much? Depending on what site you're looking at,
That's the
yes.
same thing Daestra
Yeah,
said,
that's what
depending
Daestra
on where you
said.
look.
Yeah, it's usually a, you know, you're gonna find it.
If you look for it, you'll find it,
Yeah.
basically.
But that goes for saying with everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was saying about the whole Guru joke, though, I actually have seen a hentai doujin about a werewolf, and it's just like women go crazy for him because he has like animalistic pheromones.
Can we do that one next?
I hope we're not thinking about the same one, because you're a fucking degenerate.
How dare you read the shit that I read?
You do have an extensive collection.
It's all for.
Okay, wait. Was it a school setting?
I don't think so.
Okay, no, then we're thinking about it differently.
How could you call me a degenerate? You know what it is.
So, Necromancer says, how about tentacles or eggs? And Daestra says, there's a lot of that.
Oh yeah.
Eggs? You mean like...
If you look
like,
for it enough. Because
like the-
I find it pretty easily because of my weird history, but you know.
No, but is it like eggs inside the...
Like women getting eggs shoved into them. It has a specific name.
Like if the tentacles shoot eggs into
Okay,
them,
but
they'll
men can get
pregnant.
eggs shoved into them too. We saw that.
Mm-hmm.
In
Yeah.
the penis, not even in the butt.
That was a Futanari.
We
though.
miss Bob.
Oh, that's right. That was weird. Still, if it can happen with a Fuda, it can happen with a man.
Oh yeah. Daestra wants us to get back on track. Xavier, what can you tell the audience who don't know who Mizuryu Kei is? What you know about him? About them.
They are a degenerate, but you know they have very loose, I guess, a free approach to sex, and I can appreciate that. Like the people in the works know that they're sluts, and they're fine with that. They're owning up to it.
There's full
Well,
consent.
at least two of them
Yeah,
at first.
and there's always consent, like implied or otherwise. It's if there's not consent at the beginning, there is at some point going to be consent. You haven't seen the other ones, have you?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well,
I saw. What was the other one?
Oh, I showed her the newest one, the one where it's like the student council president is so lewd.
I don't know.
He released it like a few months ago.
I don't know if I've seen or read that one. But yeah, I do like the art style. It's very
You know how we get away with that, Necromancer? If down at the bottom, this is filed under educational.
And we're not lying. We are using English literature degrees to talk about porn, so...
Yeah.
I mean, you two guys are. You're the only thing that qualifies us.
Yeah.
We're just perverts.
Pretty much.
But the art style reminded me of an anime. I don't remember which one it was.
You're right, didn't it? Me too, but I couldn't think of it.
And then I'm sure I'll remember sometime later down the line.
Was it Baki?
Oh,
Oh
I
my goodness.
wish. We'll do Baki hentai at some point when we get to the muscle tag.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing that I most associate with Mizuryu Kei is like Mizuryu Kei has a very free, open approach to sex, and like sex isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, it's like I'm a slut. So what?
Yeah, it's like I like all kinds of genitals in my mouth and other various nether regions.
Daestra says, I don't think the stickers were really that good of an idea. Girl puts on a full sex sticker hoping for Brad Pitt, but they get someone like, well, me.
Okay, well that is a good point. I mean, this sort of setup is a great idea in a fantasy world where everybody's in their early 20s.
Me and Charlie talked about that though.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that you can take them off and switch them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's
But you're gonna get on the fucking wheel with somebody's grandma. Like statistically.
Well, that's your role.
Actually,
But what are you supposed to do? Like, there's no way. There's no way to politely excuse yourself. I'm sorry, you're hideous.
Here's the thing: you don't have to get on the fucking Ferris wheel.
You don't.
I also,
But if you do, that's the risk you take.
Okay, but if you have a free sex sticker on, and then somebody awful
but I
comes
also
up to you,
assume that
That's your
you
fault.
just hide it.
Well, I'm assuming that there's also the thing of consent, and it
Yeah.
has to be on both parties.
even though
But
having
you
the
can't
stickers
say
kind
no.
of
If you notice,
consent.
like they do ask, like especially when
Like, hey,
Yeah, they go-
are you sure this is
Yeah.
cool with you?
It's usually
Yeah.
implied because everyone's a man whore or a cock slut. So it's usually yes. You kind of don't care. You're just ready to go at all times.
I'm just saying, other than the two old guys, which even weren't that egregious of an example, everybody was just like banging hot. And now, granted, it's a hentai, obviously, but you would not see that.
It's also Japan.
no,
Japan doesn't
there
have
are
like
some
the same
guys that, like, in the-
obesity issue that we do.
It's true.
Fair.
there are some guys in the background that you'll be like, oh really?
Yeah,
Can I? Or like when they were switching partners
Yeah.
near the end.
There are some
Like,
fat ugly
He
bastards.
goes like, hey, do you want to try me out? And she's like, oh, sure, man. Like they always ask.
Dude, wait,
I actually did want to talk about the stickers because that is interesting, right? Because usually in hentai, consent isn't something that gets brought up.
I thought it was an interesting.
Like
As a writer, I thought it was a very interesting piece of world building that they had factored in consent to this. I don't think the stickers would work necessarily. I think you'd have to have it on like a balloon or something that would like float it over the head like a fucking sim. Because that's the only way to avoid stuff like, oh, I thought she had a free sex sticker on, or
Should
I
we
can't
give-
see, or looking for a sticker, or you know what I mean?
Should we give the summary of the story? Because we haven't done that.
Oh yeah.
We're already talking about
Would you
it.
go ahead and do that then?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You volunteered. You had your hand up, miss.
So it's a group of young teenagers, right?
They say teenagers and they say adults. Like
Well, they're in high school though, no?
it says it for one of them, but then it's like
They're in their
Okay.
senior year.
Well, there's a group of 3 young adult girls and 2 young adult boys, and they're going to this amusement park, which is like a sex park.
Japan's first sex amusement park,
Yeah.
which is allegedly the fulfillment of Japan's dreams. Is
Which
what it says.
And it's kind of like you just go back to your primal desires kind of situation, and everybody's there only to have sex or be touched or make out or whatever, but you're not supposed to fall in love is the idea you get. This is purely a carnal situation. The groups don't go together, they go separately, but they end up all kind of having sex with each other, and then more sex happens, and then there's another part where
That is
there's
the
sex.
best That is the best summary of hentai I've ever heard in my life.
And then they go to a room and they have sex.
Well, basically, they have sex all around the amusement park.
Yeah. Two of them fall in love, and then they have more sex. And that's
Yeah,
it.
right. One of them was eating while she was like sucking a dick. She was eating a hot dog at the
Yeah.
same time. Like,
But you don't want to get those mixed up.
You don't. You really don't.
like you're not focused much.
Oh, yeah, Daestra brought up the idea that they seem to have a lot of junk food at the place.
Well, you know, you're burning it off.
You know,
Turning it off constantly.
You get junk food at an amusement park.
I admit that I kind of have a bleak view of the human race in general, but I have this theory.
But Hentai's giving you hope
Yeah,
again.
they're not human. First of all, they're drawings, and they're Asian.
Oh my god.
What?
Well, it's because we attribute a lot of the things we know about sex from an American perspective.
So he wasn't saying Asian people aren't human.
Well, that's what it sounded like.
I understand that Xavier doesn't always choose his words very choicely, however. Over time, I've come to understand what he means.
Every once in a while, you're able to parse through the supposed racism. No, what I was getting at is, I have this theory that if you really think about it, if you really analyze human nature, we're really not as evolved as we think we are. We've developed society, we've developed language, but at the end of the day, we're just the same apes we've always been, and we're still driven to, if you look at the media we consume, if you look at, some of the hobbies that we do, like video games or even some RPGs, what are the three things we're constantly driven to do? Eat, kill something, and fuck. So, I mean, to me,
And the
makes
reason
perfect sense.
that is because those are the primal things you need.
Absolutely.
You
That's
don't,
what
you don't need
sells.
to kill people. Hold on. You don't
Hey,
need to.
Not people.
I'm still hoping that holds up
but
in
you
court.
need it. You kill animals to eat. So
Okay, well,
not-
most people kill animals to eat.
Yeah.
There's a good percentage that don't. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah, I've seen Xavier strangle a rattlesnake and eat it.
It was not a monster girl. I was disappointed.
You're just hoping it had a choking fetish?
Were you hoping if you choked her enough that she would turn into a human?
So what's...
That's how it works, right? When you the wild shape, when their hit points at zero, they revert back to their.
Oh, D&D 5e druid?
Yeah. That didn't happen. He just died.
No, what sort of tags do you all think kind of popped up from this work?
Sweaty or sticky?
Gangbang.
NTR possibly.
Smell.
Smell?
Is it net? Well, maybe.
I don't think
maybe
smell
it
was
is.
brought up.
No.
They wife swapped, so yeah.
Swapping.
But, like,
I don't know if it
is
qualifies.
Netorare the same as cucking? Cause he
I don't
wasn't
know if it
exactly
qualifies as
getting
NTR. But
Net-
maybe.
NTR typically involves the relationship aspect of
Yeah.
like
Well,
the corruption
I
of a
think this
relationship.
Here's
did
the
have
thing,
that,
like
right?
it's cheating, right? So
Is it cheating if the other partner knows?
Also,
And is
if
cool
they're
with it?
not in a relationship.
I don't know. Like he asks her to be in a relationship, and then she's like,
Yeah, but that
sure.
happened
And then
af-
like near the end, she calls him, going like, oh, I'm at the party. It's like, yeah, I'm cheating on you with like another like 10 dudes.
Which is actually interesting because, like I said, we've been exposed to this, and I've actually seen a couple episodes of Mizuryukei Land.
There's only
And,
2, I think, right now.
well, in the anime, she doesn't even tell him. She's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to bang too.
Yeah,
Open
well-
season.
I just assumed
Well,
they were
that's
in
in
an
the
open
second episode, I
relationship.
think you're
Yeah.
talking about. In the second episode, she's just like talking to herself while she's banging this dude, going
But see,
like, I'm
here's the
sorry,
thing.
I'm cheating on you. Like,
Is it cheating if the other partner knows and is cool with it?
Some people consider it cucking still, but some people just consider it partner swapping. Usually,
Or is it
if
just
there's two,
polyamory? Is it an open relationship?
I thought it was an open relationship because doesn't she say something like, I like having sex with a lot of guys, and
she
she's
goes
like, that's
like,
fine.
yeah, I think she goes like, oh, I'm still a slut, and he goes like, I'm fine with that.
You're like you're as good as I'm gonna get here. I'll take it.
Like I think if it's decided that it's okay, I don't consider it cheating. If they talked about it.
Yeah.
Daestra said, I found what is interesting was how the manga portrays the place as a sort of utopia, but my favorite book, Brave New World, has extremely similar ideas catering to the primeval nature and it's dystopian, or dystopic. No, I think that's a very astute observation to make, because there's the idea that, it's like, Chaz, you got into the idea that, oh, we like to think we're these high intellectual beings, but we're still driven by a lot of base desires. But then, that's also brought up kind of like in Brand New World, where it's like, people are brought down by constantly being told to give in to base desires like drugs, sex, violence, that kind of thing. But on the other hand, you have the idea that maybe that's not exactly a bad thing.
See, here's the way I look at it. What year was Brave New World written?
I think the
does anybody know?
60s.
Yeah. See, there you go. I think a lot of it. I don't want to put all the blame in this one direction, but a lot of Western culture got really puritanical and really repressed with the rise of Judeo-Christian beliefs and notions. So society has developed itself to think that all this stuff you want to do, that's bad. You don't want to do this. You have to be this very demure person that's above all your base instincts. You basically have to lie to yourself. And honestly, I think that's why we have a lot of the mental problems that we have. I think that's why we have a lot of the depression that we have. Because we're animals, we're hardwired as fucking animals, and yet we're trying to act in the complete opposite
1931 is what he says. Even
there
worse.
There you go. My point
okay.
exactly. So
That's a lot earlier than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
So I
thought it was written after 1984.
So would it
I was about to bring that one up too.
Would it be dystopic for something like this to happen? I think that is entirely in the eye of the beholder. You would not see some of the aspects of, quote, civilization, like this facade of refinement. This and honestly, that's one of the themes that I tried to touch on with Savage City that just ended. I wanted to sort of get back to, obviously, the more darker, more murderous desires of humanity, the more selfish and solipsistic didn't pan out. But
Because that's kind of assumed with vampire.
yeah, exactly. I did some missteps, and I have some ideas how to better structure a theme into a chronicle, but that's neither here nor there.
We just assume everyone we meet is like a huge piece of shit.
The question is, would it be dystopic? I would have to ask you, what do you consider dystopic? If you consider people no longer trying to pretend to be something they're not dystopic, then yes, it could be. However, I think it'd be very freeing. I think more people would be happy. I'm not saying I want to do that because I'm a jealous bastard and I'm not going to share you with anybody, but I understand the very human desire to want to do it.
There's a lot of people that would probably enjoy that from what I've heard anyway.
I mean, probably, but the problem with the Utopia is they can't exist. Someone's always going to be at the bottom.
Daestra said, well, bear in mind that Brave New World people are literally influenced and manipulated into close-mindedness as soon as they are born.
Well, yeah, that's what the media is nowadays.
I would say we're the
Same
same
thing.
way. We're the exact same fucking way. And you know, I was having a conversation with Kyle. Some of the super, super long-time viewers might know who Kyle is, but
I haven't seen him. In the last few times I've been there, he still lives there, right?
yeah, he hasn't been hanging out with his chick as much, so he's been around more.
Okay.
But anyway, so I was having this conversation with him, and apparently we were talking about how just exchanging different points of view with people, and apparently there was some sort of study done. I wish I had a source to cite. I have to research this a little bit more. But apparently some university did a study that when their beliefs are challenged, the signals that the brain sends...
It's the same as being physically attacked.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
It's the same as being physically attacked. Did I have that conversation with you and not Kyle?
No, I just read the same thing.
Oh, okay, good. I was like, I thought I miscredited it for a second. But yeah, it's the same as being physically attacked. So I would say that our society, we are manipulated into closed-mindedness from the day we were born. And my family was super fucking repressive. Mine was very, this is how it's supposed to be, this is not how it's supposed to be. When I was a little kid, I was a fucking dork. I'm talking button-down polo shirts every
Come
day.
on, Charlie.
Short hair, parties left. If my grandmother saw me with full-blown goth makeup and long hair, she'd be doing backflips in the fucking ground so hard the cemetery would be tremoring. Well, actually, she's on my aunt's mantle, so that. But
Just grave dust.
That thing would
everywhere.
fall.
She can't be a Giovanni now.
But yeah, so I would say we are absolutely manipulated into closed-mindedness, and I think it would be almost therapeutic for us to have something like this. But again, large video arcade, because you want to satisfy the food, you want to satisfy the wiener, and you gotta kill shit. Maybe not for the women so much, but I get too aggressive sometimes.
Well, were you about to say something?
Aggressive
No.
towards
Oh.
what?
People, life, and
Also,
general.
just clarify that so people don't think you're aggressive towards me.
Well, only when you want it.
Yes.
I was going to say, kind of, remember when we were talking about the onsen tag? And we
Yeah.
talk about how certain aspects of sexuality are facilitated when people are taken out of the normal environment.
Yeah.
There's obviously a huge element of that here because you're being taken from the normal world where there's sexual morals and norms into a world where you can be free of that. In that sense, I would argue it's not dystopian because this is a place where you're going specifically to do that. It's kind of like going on vacation, right? Like typically day-to-day life, you care about what you put into your body. You're a little more careful about what you eat, how much you consume of alcohol and stuff like that.
I will be honest, I eat garbage 24/7. Like, I have thought of working out, and the only reason I want a gym membership is so I can keep my body in a fit state that eating garbage will not fuck me over too hard.
Yeah,
That's the only reason I work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eating, fucking killing. I'm telling you, I'm a simple person. I just got the Doom BFG edition, so I'm good. I'm good with
Okay,
that.
I was about to say, if you're gonna admit to a murder, could you not do it on stream? Because I can get away with that. Because you know who you are, you won't say shit.
Why did I have to sit next to I'm just kidding.
My friends are safe. But only my friends.
So
No, yeah, I was getting into the idea of like it's a separate part of society, right? Obviously, I think you could argue that the world in which this story takes place, if everything was like Mizuryukei Land, you could argue it's a dystopian kind of
I
world.
feel like it's a utopia because like you have the option of it. You don't have to.
Well, it's
go
presented
there
in a
if you
nice
don't
way, right?
want to.
You don't have to, but okay, so there's this thing that people overlook on this. This costs money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it's
a
a
lot.
business.
Yeah, this costs money. That means
They have to
every
spend more
day you're
than
there.
lunches.
Like they have blood work done. They have their IDs
Like,
checked.
have
they
you seen that?
cleaning stuff?
Have you seen that? Like, how much would it take for you to live at Disneyland for a year?
Oh yeah.
If people get addicted to this, they're gonna go to work for, they're gonna kill themselves probably at work just to get enough money to be here, which I can totally see that happening in this.
You want to know how to game the system? You want to make a mint with this? I've already thought this through.
And I
Pay
can't.
per pay showers.
Are you planning on making this?
No, but I would absolutely open up like independent showers.
Oh yeah, I played.
Want a shower? $5.
Yeah, I played Roller Coaster Tycoon. It's like
Yeah.
fucking
Charge for the bathroom.
charge for the bathroom, lock them in there.
You run it like a truck stop. They pay like $5 for a shower, and I could live there and make a profit.
Well, so I
Commander
imagine,
Vulcan, how you doing?
Yes, it is the theme park hentai.
Yeah, I imagine this was just kind of like on the outskirts of the city where you would find all the strip clubs, just a crazier version of that. It's still a business. It's still in normal society. You just have to drive for it.
Oh, my apologies, Daestra. I forgot to put the link in the Discord this time. However, I have the name of the work in the description of the video if you want to look it up.
No, it's just like smack dab in the middle of like whatever Japan's Orlando is.
Well,
Sort of.
right there.
I wouldn't
So
say
the
Florida
bus.
of Japan.
They take the bus there, so that's
Yeah.
why I imagined it was just kind of like it's just outside of the city.
Japan also uses public transportation
That's
more than
it.
we do.
That's true.
Did they have their own bus?
Yeah, with a penis in the back.
yeah,
with a big
just
old
the boner
penis.
theme park has an express ride.
I think it was interesting that Xavier brought up the fact that it costs money to be here. How do you all think that impacts this liberated, free idea of sexuality that's in the story if you have to pay for it?
Maybe not everybody can do it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. As slutty as everyone is here, because there's the cast members that you have to pay extra for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If nobody wants to do you.
Yeah, it's like, what do you do? Do you have to? I mean, you could be as slutty as you want, but if they can't afford you, you're not going to make any money. I'm assuming they work off tips like servers. So
Well, Japan doesn't have a tipping culture, so
that's
you probably
right.
they have the bracelet that automatically charges you. Remember, so I'm assuming if you're gonna have sex with the cast member, bracelet picks it up, automatically get charged your
but do
munchies.
you get paid on like commission or?
Probably.
I
That's
think they
probably what
talk
they're
about
trying
that
to
in
do.
another story, don't they? In one of the other chapters, they talk about the people that work there.
I know they do. I don't think I've read it.
Mm.
I need more answers. I
Yeah, I haven't read all of it. I've only
should have learned the lore.
I've only read this one, and then I've watched the 2 videos that came out.
I
from
think I've
Mizuryukei
read the
Land.
first 4 chapters, but I only really reread this one a lot for the episode. Yeah, Daestra's talking about if you read the whole series, that theme park is massive, like Disneyland size. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a pretty big place.
So can you live there? Because I think they actually did they did 3 calculations for Disneyland, and the low, medium, and the highest one. It was actually not as expensive as I would have thought. I still don't want to live in Disneyland.
Wasn't the idea that if you would just be like living like a wealthy person,
Yeah.
if you had a wealthy income, you could live at Disneyland
I think it was like $20,000.
for low.
It's not bad, but I mean, it's $20,000. That's a whole year
You're
of
gonna-
you not making.
Yeah, if
money.
you eat nothing but like one corn dog a day.
Okay, so Daestra said, another question I would ask is if having a place like that with endless sex available would depreciate the true meaning and feeling of sex.
Probably, but that doesn't matter. What's more important though is about the janitors.
I was thinking about
Me and
that.
Charlie said that.
I was looking at that panel where that chick's like grinding herself against the pole, and like they must sanitize the fuck out of that place daily.
Is this open 24/7?
Actually, no, it wasn't. Yeah, I think so.
I think it closes at night.
It's an amusement park, so I'd say no.
It
Well,
wasn't.
I'm assuming they need to have some like in the middle of the week, Tuesday or Wednesday, where they just clean everything because that would get disgusting.
I didn't
no,
mention that.
we know from the anime that it is open at night.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mention that with you. I mentioned that with my friend that I was talking to about this, and yeah, like I was sitting there going like, this has to suck washing
That
those
or the-
sheets like every hour possibly.
That or just like having
And
like a certain section of the park closed off for maintenance every couple of days. I don't know.
I do agree with Daestra though. Like if you keep just having sex and having sex and having sex, I would think you eventually get a little tired of just.
Oh no, yes,
you get
absolutely.
desensitized.
Yeah. So when you actually find maybe when you actually find
It could
someone
be
you like,
different if they find someone they're actually physically and like emotionally attached to and attracted to.
or maybe just the
Possibly.
physical part just doesn't matter as much anymore, and since you just do it so often, it's not that big of a deal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm already at that point where I don't care about sex anymore. Not to say I get a whole lot of coochie, but I'm at that point where it's just like I don't care anymore.
You prefer
Was
the
that okay? I know you've had a couple of ladies. You've probably admittedly pulled down more tail than anybody here. How much of that journey was just reading weird ass fucking hentai?
I mean, I know how to compartmentalize. I'm a dude, so I can separate them. But oh my
Do you
god!
want to explain that a little bit? Because that my dog, you gotta like nuance is a gift. You gotta cultivate that.
Well, I guess I didn't tell you guys about what happened on Valentine's Day, huh? Oh my
Lord.
god! Oh, I don't want to get into that on the stream. I'll
Now you and all 5 of our viewers.
I was so fucking angry at everything. It's fine, whatever. Back to the original point. What was I saying? Oh, I don't care about sex anymore. Okay.
This is getting weird.
The only
Do
weird
you
part.
You
wanna
still
stop
have that
talking?
No, it's
instinct?
fine. It's fine. This is therapeutic for me, and I'm sure everyone else wants to know.
I'll talk if you want.
No, it's
okay.
I've gotten to the point where if I'm not getting into a serious relationship, I kind of don't care because my previous relationships have been little more than one night stands. Probably a couple days, maybe weeks or months after that, but I got nothing out of that, and so I was just like, why am I putting my time and effort into this when
This isn't worth my seed.
it is not? No, I'm on a very strict schedule. All right, and so when I set aside time for somebody, anybody, doesn't matter who, family, friends, or potential romantic interests, I want to get something out of it.
Yeah, you don't just want to be out there doing.
Yeah, it's like I could
Nonsense.
just hang out with my friends, right? That's whatever. And my family, I'd rather not hang out with, but family obligations. But so anything outside of that, it's just like, what do I get out of this? I don't have time to just be giving to people willy nilly. And that might sound somewhat selfish,
I don't think so.
but it's just like,
your
fuck,
body.
man. I don't. I only have so much time on my hands per day.
I think it's you're prioritizing it, and if that's not as important,
Like
who cares?
I don't just want to fuck.
Yeah.
I'm done with that. I've done.
You've been there, you've done that
I have.
multiple times.
I have done the whole. I'm just here to fuck phase.
Which honestly is amazing for me to hear coming from a dude. And I'm not trying to say that to be mean. I'm just saying, like, there's so
No,
many guys that I know that just want to, like, fuck anything that...
Well, honestly, I've never had that instinct, and you know this.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
I've never had sex with a woman that I was not in a relationship with.
It's just so strange to hear that because, like, I'm so used to guys just constantly wanting... Like if I hung out with my girlfriend, it's all they would talk about all the time, and I'm like, ugh.
I mean, sex is still fun to talk about. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like it's getting to the point where it's whatever for me. I can take it or leave it. I want something else other than the sex.
And Daestra says, and you shit on me for unironically liking Rand.
Okay, you know what, Daestra? That is something completely different. All right, Rand's a fucking borderline sociopathic ideals aside.
Didn't Rand also have the whole one person, if you're great enough, should have multiple partners thing?
Yeah, just like she was a fucking catch. All right, and she and you know
Well, she also had multiple male partners, didn't she?
on a personal note, all right, this is from Xavier. She was wholly okay with the whole genocide of Native Americans. I don't know if you remember that. She was like, oh, they chose to live like savages and they'll die. So, but you know, that's just me. I'm sure other people might have those sentiments. At me, I dare you.
Fight him.
Well, I think it's interesting that in the comments, Commander Vulcan and Daestra were talking about Cenobites and Slaaneshi cultist, just because there's this idea that too much sex is a bad thing, right? And obviously the work kind of puts an argument where it's the opposite of that, where because people, even if this work takes place 10 years in the future, right, people, it's meant to talk about people now, and it's meant to appeal to people now. And there's this idea that some people feel we're sexually oppressed. There's some arguments, like from people like there's a French philosopher I can't think of, who said we were never really sexually oppressed. This is a completely different thing to talk about, but yeah, there's this idea that too much sex is a bad thing, right? And I do think it goes to, for some people, there's the idea that sex is part of human relationships, that just sex isn't something everybody wants. There's this idea, well, because I was kind of thinking when I was reading this work about like its relationship to like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like obviously that isn't like something that is like cut and dry. That's the reality of things, right? But there's this idea that there's things we need at the very bottom level. There's the physical things, right? Like the need to defecate, the need to eat, like the need to feel safe, and then sexual reproduction or sexual pleasure. And I just like found an interesting connection between that idea that perhaps, particularly in Japan, where a lot of people are like entering their 20s and 30s, like more than 50% of people being virgins and stuff like that, that perhaps there's like this sexual need and sexual fulfillment in relationships that just aren't there, where the idea that you could pay for it and have it no strings attached would be a good thing, because it's kind of like a host club, right? Like you go to a host club because you want the physical intimacy or like social intimacy with a partner, but you don't want all the hang-ups of having a relationship.
And Japan also has like a super repressed culture too. And I really wish we had somebody on the panel that actually lived in Japan, because we're talking completely out of our ass with this.
Yeah, like I try not to make any real generalizations about the country. Sometimes I say it to try to illustrate something about the text, right?
Well, I have tried to learn as much as I can from actual Japanese people. So when I speak, I'm reiterating that, but I have no personal experience myself.
Yeah, that's always something to keep in mind, is like the own limitations of our perspective, and that
We only have statistics and numbers, which given might be fairly accurate over there, given the small amount of people, but...
But we do already have a very scaled down version of this. Like we have nudist beaches all over the place. Now you're not,
having
going
sex
out
with
there.
people.
I think there actually was a resort that got busted for basically the same kind of thing. I mean, obviously it wasn't this giant theme park with nipple pasties and fucking, handing out condoms and free sex stickers, but they were basically running the resort like a brothel, and the patrons could bang each other.
I'm pretty sure that's Disney's, what is it, club,
Oh, the club that you have to be rich to get into?
Yeah, the one that's got like a 10-year waiting line. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And you can't convince me otherwise. I know Disney does some shady stuff. Disney knows they do shady stuff, but it's fine. You're going to be one of the dystopian megacorps in Shadowruns.
Yeah, they own everything.
I like how
Disney's going to be like the media company.
Notice that the most repressed seeming society has the most fucked up porn.
And Commander Vulcan said the more conservative a culture is, the more messed up their art is.
If you would, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, what is art?
What is art? If he wants to, he can watch the stream.
Oh wait, how do I call him back?
I think he's probably just outside.
Oh, who's
Sorry.
here?
Just my friend Daniel to pick something up.
Oh, man, he's not gonna stay with us?
He can sit on the couch over there if he wants.
He's not gonna play Monster Prom with us?
He can if he wants to. So I think it's really interesting that the premise of this text has brought forth this whole discussion about like sexual relationships, right? Well, I guess we can kind of go into, what do you all personally feel about the whole idea of sex by itself versus sex as relationships that hasn't already been said by you?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys know my feelings.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like I said. I tend to.
Can you hand me my phone? Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. Or as you were saying, Jess?
You know, I don't know how neurotypical I am for guys. In fact, I would probably say I'm kind of weird, all things considered.
No, you said killing, fucking,
Eating.
It's
Okay, well, the point I'm trying to get at is I don't know if maybe it's just the huge abandonment issues I have when I was a little kid with my mother and my family and stuff. But like I said, I do tend to be more possessive. And I don't mean to. It makes me sound like a terrible person.
no, that's fairly typical.
If I.
He's not a sharer.
Yeah, I need to have that intimacy with one person, and I need to know that it's exclusive. That's why I've never felt the need to have sex outside of a relationship. I'm not gonna say I've never wanted to, but for me the relationship aspect was more important. Now that could, admittedly, that might not be healthy. Like that could be me trying to fill a hole with something else, and
That's what the sex is for.
Do you think there might be something different culturally between like our Western American culture and perhaps the way relationships are viewed in Japan that might affect differently the way they see sex and relationships and their connection?
So again, I'm not qualified to talk about any of this, but I have heard these things from actual Japanese people. And in Japan, you have that phenomena where you have the neat culture that's going this way, but then you have the traditional corporate culture, and the traditional corporate culture that's spending 12 hours a day, 6 days a week at work, don't really have time for relationships, and that's why motherfuckers are marrying their Nintendo DS. So
Well, my Nintendo DS is always there for me.
I would say that there's definitely a cultural relationship divide going on there.
Do you want to chime in on that, Melinda? How do you feel about the whole idea of sex and its connection to relationships?
Give us the
I feel
woman's
like I
perspective.
don't have a lot of input on that because I don't have a lot of experience with it. Like Charlie was the only man I've ever been with, and like that was like 2 years ago.
I was all you need.
That was like,
that
and that was only like 2 years ago. So
You guys heard it. I'm technically the best. Number one.
So like I wouldn't really know how I feel about it,
Yeah,
Like I feel like if I were to be like that, I would at least have to be friends with the person. And I know some people go like, "Oh, that would mess up your friendship." For me, I don't make things awkward.
That would be weird.
You don't want to have sex anymore? All right, fine.
Yeah, like it's whatever, cool.
I was
beans,
actually. I guess I compartmentalized too much, but I actually had a lot of female friends in high school, and I could never imagine banging any of them. And like every once in a while, I would talk to people that would kind of expect me to, or expect me to move the relationship in that direction. It's like I've never once seen her in that light. I've never once thought of her as a potential partner ever.
You're just, please don't flatter yourself.
I just think
This isn't worth my seed.
I just think it would be a little stranger with a stranger because
Well,
you don't
There's the no strings attached.
like well that's the thing, like you don't know how they're gonna be towards you, and then like they could be abusive for all you know when you get in there with them, and like,
That's the excitement, the thrill.
But that's also part of the freedom. You meet, you bump, and you never see each other again.
Here's something interesting, right? Like, a good thing to do when you're looking at a text is what you notice, but something I didn't notice is the fact that this work is almost completely divorced from the idea of reproduction.
That's
a lot of
really
Yeah,
good
true.
point. Because
you okay?
Yep.
In hentai, a lot of the thing that happens, right, is like, I'm gonna come, you're gonna get pregnant, right? There's that breeding element to it. There's not that here at all. Like, the idea of somebody getting pregnant is
Bad.
completely eliminated. Like, they point out that like all the lube they use is spermicidal, and that like all the guys are wearing condoms.
can I point out one thing?
What?
They specifically distribute the condoms. They stick it on the guy when they walk in. What happens once that condom's done? Because that bitch was sodding towards the end when she arrived at the cabin.
Well, the semen still comes out into them. Did you see that?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it does.
when the guy like dismounted, what was her name? Yuki, right?
I don't remember.
The
Yeah, well,
purple-haired chick.
they're all
and then
covered.
this huge fucking cream pie. Which, by the way, I love you guys, but that's never happened.
Are you saying you're not going to cream pie them?
No, I'm saying
There's
like,
gonna be no swapping.
if we were at a weird sex theme park and Xavier gets off a chick and goes, "Your turn," I'll be like, I'm gonna pass. Also,
Okay,
Probably don't think I could ever have a casual conversation with one of you guys while you were stroking your junk.
I wrote that down. They're just like chatting with each other while they're touching either themselves or somebody else, and it was weird. Or like when the three girls were sitting down, we're sitting down, and Josh is right here just masturbating. Like,
I mean, that's not weird to me because I've watched like so much weird shit online. That
Okay,
it's
yeah,
like,
but if I was
why are
right
guys
here,
just chatting on
if I was right here masturbating right now next to you, are you telling me that would not be weird?
No, I'd be like, cool.
I'd be like,
Okay.
Really? That would be weird for me, and I'm not even in splash
to be
range.
fair, I'm Xavier. I know how everyone thinks about me. But
No,
what
no.
if Josh was masturbating?
I don't care.
if you were sitting here, I'd be like, you can leave my house, please.
But it's what they want to see.
See, the only reason why I would kick someone out of my house for that, I wouldn't want them to ruin my couches. Be like, you're not
That's
gonna
fair.
stain my shit.
Say, buddy, can you use the porch?
Oh no.
Like, it would be weird for like 2 seconds, then I'd be like, alright, cool, I'm just gonna scoot over. Like, that's it. I'm not gonna be like, oh god, what are you doing?
when we're all sitting here before
Just like,
we
hey, where do you guys
start-
want to go to dinner?
No.
Just a fucking conversation about anything. Just
Like, I've
wank it off.
seen like, just like, you know, actual porn just online. Guys just talk to each other while this chick's getting railed by like 3 dudes. And I'm like, so that, I'm just kind of used to that, I guess. So that's why it probably wouldn't be weird to me.
I guess I just don't want that to happen to me in
And
real life.
Daestra challenges that, Xavier.
It's just...
Yeah, they're Commander Vulcan and Daestra just bring up the idea of like the way the park would affect relationships and the difficulty of furthering your career after childbirth and women facing discrimination in the workplace.
I think that unless you were in a very open relationship to the point where you wouldn't care, you probably wouldn't be visiting this park if you were in a relationship. Like,
Yeah, well, because they bring it up multiple times in the story, right? Like they say everybody here is a pervert.
I'm sorry,
the
Daestra,
thing
what?
is, you have to understand, there are places in America where there are legal prostitution.
Yeah.
There are porn stars. There are people that do just fuck. And I imagine it would follow the same rules. Like, when you think about this really isn't that weird. It just takes what already exists and makes it this much
Puts it in one
grander
place.
scale where it's more
I think
accepted.
the biggest problem I can see to something like this happening is health code violations.
Oh yeah, that place would be...
That's about it, though. We can get past that. I can totally see this. Like
Health
making
code
money.
violations and consent. Because like I said, I thought she had a free sex sticker, or, they'd probably have to serve alcohol because it's clearly adult entertainment. People are going to get drunk. They need to have security there. Like, I could see some...
Well, isn't that why they have the watching and everything, and also they do STD tests and all kinds of
Yeah,
tests?
yeah.
I was going to bring up the fact that in the story, they try to make it very clear that everything that's happening is safe.
It's strict, yeah.
I don't think that's realistic, though.
I know it's not realistic, but talking about the text itself, there's this idea that it's presented in a way
We're
that no
reading
matter what
Hentai.
happens, no one's going to get pregnant, no one's going to get an STD, and everyone's going to have a good time. And that's part of the aspect of it being like this primal pleasure kind of place.
And that is fantastic, but it would never happen. Because
It would happen in a very small park, not as big as Disneyland.
No.
Not as big as
It's a small park.
You don't want to stick around?
there's
Okay.
there's a max.
Sorry.
Even if it was just a fucking flapjack party, it doesn't fucking matter. Which
Also-
I still cannot find that green text.
If this were happening in real life, it would mainly be old people and kind of gross looking people and
To be fair, I think
Yeah.
what is the like it's like the amount of people that are having sex. Often it's just like 20 to 25, and the next category is like 55 and up. Because they're just fucking.
there's a lot of STDs in like
geriatric communities.
yeah because
they feel like using condoms is a reproductive thing rather than a STD thing.
yeah that there's actually an issue happening in the,
The
world
old
with
people,
that.
the old people are just
Like,
sectioned off.
I don't know if you
somewhere
guys
else.
remember that scene from Scrubs, where what was her name? Elliot lost.
Oh, she has to give a sex talk to the people at the elderly community, right?
Well, there was that, but then there was this guy got an STD, didn't want his wife to find out. It was fucking, what's his name, Dr. Kelso?
I think that
Was it? I actually didn't watch too much
Yeah,
Scrubs. I saw it occasionally.
She started working at a clinic because she lost her job, and then just like, oh, Dr. Kelso, he's just like, son of a bitch. And then like the next scene is just like, welcome back, Dr. Elliot, everyone. But yeah, there's a whole lot of fucking amongst old people.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's like okay, so there's like the general park, right? I don't see it too out of place, because you know how like Disneyland has like the different like themed areas, that they'll have like an old timey part for the Japanese elderly people, just like yes, here's this nice like traditional Japanese area, and like the old guys will just sit there getting sucked off while they're drinking tea.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. I could definitely see them sectioning off the park and being like, okay, here's the gay section, here's the anything goes section, here's the
Anything goes.
There's too much leather here. Okay, that guy's the guy's outfit with the chaps. That was a great outfit.
I was gonna say, I thought that was interesting in the fact that it's one thing if the girls had ridiculously skimpy outfits, but then the guys are given equally ridiculous and sexualized outfits.
Yeah, I think the
I don't think that would happen. Sorry, in real life, because you said Mizuryu is a guy, right?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Okay, as far as I know, and the ladies
Also pretend that it doesn't matter.
Pretend that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're not supposed
Death
to
of the
assume.
artist.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just thinking that from what I know, guys are really into lingerie because we have that lizard brain fucking on full blast. Whereas, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, but women are more into like very well dressed people. Like there's a saying that says a well tailored suit is to women what lingerie is to men.
When Josh wears button-down shirts...
You know what? Yeah.
Actually, before we started dating, the first day where, we had knew each other, but the first day where I was like, whoa, Josh is kind of really... He's got it going on. Was a day he just looked extra nice at school. Like, he had a white button-down shirt. I think you had just gotten a haircut. You were wearing...
We need to put the wet floor signs down on I.
I was like... Whoa.
Puddle.
Josh.
See, look, now you know what to do. Just look at her, bite the lip, and button the top on.
See, the problem with that is that's kind of hard to get off and clean, maintain it. This is a sex theme park.
Yes. Well, no, what you would do is you just have to be made of the right material.
No, but
like
then...
a Scotch guard the shit out of it.
But then...
Make it like a raincoat with like easy access.
If he would wear like a crop top, I'd be all for it.
Like I love Charlie. Like I understand what she's saying because I love Charlie when he's like has a button-up shirt and like a suit on.
Yeah, I haven't dressed decently in a very long time. I apologize.
It's okay. Like,
Well, hello, the Master and the Commander, but they're also talking about like the way men in JoJo dress, and like they dress like a little like bright colors and sometimes silly skimpy outfits, but it's still very manly in a way.
It is very manly.
JoJo's is not horny. Now I'll fight to the death anyone who says otherwise.
Hey, Fred.
Hello.
So we've kind of been talking very general about like ideas associated with the ero-manga, and we're still going to get to the anime and comparing and contrasting it, but is there anything in like the first scene where they're on the bus that you guys want to talk about, or that you found interesting, or you made some sort of connection to it?
I got something in the... Not before they're in the bus. Even just that little
That scene
square.
right there?
No. The little square where it's all the text and it's the girls in the theme park.
Mm-hmm.
The middle girl has a crop top that is... It's nipples. It's like a naked person crop top. So it's like she has clothes on, but it looks like she doesn't have clothes on because the clothes she's wearing mimic. And I thought it was fun.
They also have continuity problems.
Oh, in what way?
Because they're wearing long sleeves and everything and a jacket. She's wearing a jacket. The other girl's wearing a scarf. But yeah, they're going to a theme park where you're naked constantly.
You can't be naked on the bus.
Also, it's probably...
Yeah, but they're wearing like winter clothes.
But yeah, they're wearing winter stuff.
It's probably more like because once you
They'll get warm.
Yeah, you're just like, yes!
Well, I think also the bus might just be cold because of the air conditioning.
Probably. Just like, you guys don't get
It's like going to a movie theater,
Like,
right?
I didn't notice that before, and then I just saw it, and I was like, wait a minute.
Because they don't want you fucking in the theater.
Or maybe it's a theme park like the one in Oran High School Host Club where it's winter outside, but the theme park it's tropical.
Maybe.
Oh, hello, Daryl. Daryl said that the manga was better because it shows emotion better, oddly enough. I think that, I do think, well, I believe Daryl, Yusuf and I had the conversation about like modern day hentai animation, and that it's typically very, very poor quality. Mizuryukei Land isn't bad, however, you can tell they have a few shortcuts with the animation.
Yeah, they found it.
I actually do.
Then again, how much do you really need to animate this?
You'd be amazed how well some people can do it.
There was a really strange animation of a hentai that I'll bring up later.
Chaz, would you mind letting him out?
Do you remember Teruaki Murakami with the way he's just completely dynamic
Never mind, he doesn't
with
want to go
motion?
Well, Teruo Murakami was borderline auteur with his camera work, I would say.
Hold on, I don't think he wants to go outside.
The long-haired friend looks like what was her name from Shokugeki no Soma?
I thought the same thing.
Who did the alcohol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
But you
What was
know,
your specialty?
alcohol fermentation.
Oh, there we go.
It's weird.
But you know, I tried to ignore that because we're not on parody.
Also, I really like the penis lollipop chocolate thing. Honestly, like, I think those are fun. I want to try one.
I wanted to ask, what is it about bachelorette parties where suddenly it's cool if everything's a penis?
I mean,
Because
Spencer
you're not gonna get any more dick other than the person you're gonna be with for the rest of the time. So you just gotta get all of it.
Yeah, they get all the dick right then and there.
Exactly.
Which I
for
still
sure.
want. I still want that rainbow dick
Thank
lollipop from Spencer's.
Okay, we'll get you a rainbow dick lollipop. Jesus.
There's also like a
Xavier and I wanted to win those Bad Dragon dildos at freaking Gen Con so bad.
Yeah.
I've seen penis lipsticks where it's like
Right?
I
I've seen
kind of
those.
want one.
I want one too.
just
I think I showed Charlie that. I was like, babe, look at these penis lipsticks. I want one.
because I think it's funny. Like, honestly, it's because I think it's funny. But then there's also like the vagina bronzers or things like that.
I've
where
never seen vagina bronzer.
Really? They look so cool, and I would also want that.
I've seen vaginal gummies and vagina what do you call it? Lollipops.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
But like,
Woo.
Daniel, come talk about
I've never
porn.
seen the bronzer.
Oh shit,
All right.
Dido.
Big Daddy D.
You should get sponsored by Bad Dragon.
Oh man, I wish.
I wish, right?
You can go ahead and sit on that couch.
Porn
over there
clubs
If you want.
at us.
Yay,
We will-
more alcohol. What is it?
I should say porn companies, sex toy companies,
Oh, cool.
get at us. We'll take sponsorships.
I heard that
for just
meat is
about anything.
delicious.
The
and I
camera's
want to
right
try
there,
it.
just so you know.
Yeah.
So you're free
Yeah.
advertising. Okay. You are.
You can move that on the floor.
You're gonna have to move the couch cushions off, or else you're gonna be blocking off part of the frame.
What do you mean?
Just put them on the floor.
You have to sit as far
He's
back.
alright now.
No, I can.
Yeah,
still see. I don't think
you
he's
are
in the
fine
frame.
right there. Okay.
Whoops.
Yeah. Just put the pillows on the floor over there.
Yeah, you're good. Thank you.
No, Phoenix is what, a good 12, 16 hours?
Phoenix?
Phoenix,
How far is
Arizona,
Phoenix,
or
Daniel?
Phoenix, New Mexico?
How far is Phoenix?
420 miles?
I know, but like hours.
You
For a
Driving-
normal person,
Oh
not
yeah,
you.
driving at a normal speed.
6 hours, 30 minutes?
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay.
say it's no way it's 12 hours.
I took a road trip out there with my uncle when I was younger, and I remember taking fuck all through
Well, that's why.
Yeah.
I remember getting to Las Vegas in like 8 hours.
We can't
How
exactly.
the fuck did you do that?
I don't know. My dad said, "Hey, we're gonna go on a trip." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I woke up the next morning. We were in Vegas.
It took me 17 hours to get here. 17 fucking hours.
My dad.
I got screwed.
My dad was not very safe friendly.
So we can't exactly ask Bad Dragon to sponsor us, but if you guys just email Bad Dragon and be like, you guys should get sponsored or sponsor the Hentai Lit Club.
Yes.
I'm not.
And
gonna
we'll have
stop
a
you.
roulette
The
wheel.
Chris Chan marketing approach.
I'm pretty sure Bad Dragon sponsors are like women masturbating.
It's usually on
With their
Pornhub.
So yeah,
So-
if you guys want to see one of them use,
If you want to see Xavier use it,
okay, we'll have a roulette wheel, and it's just like, okay, who's gonna use this one?
But like 50% of it is Adam.
Sorry, Adam.
Oh,
You're gonna have
no.
to take 2 for the team.
I want to change the topic now.
Why? Because you don't want to think about Adam shoving a big old
I
massive
just
dragon
don't wanna
cock
talk
in his
about
ass?
this in general.
Bad Dragon is amazing.
See you one time?
Not right now. But
I do.
is there anything else about the first scene you guys want to talk about?
You have a cut?
Not really.
All right, nothing else here on the bus scene.
Oh, it's basically love at first sight with the. That's a meet cute. That's what you call a meet cute when
Yeah.
they touch
That's
hands.
good.
I just realized.
cute?
Meet cute, yeah.
Meet cute? What are you talking about?
When they touch hands in the bus and they're like, oh, sorry, oh.
It's just like, God, I'm super horny right now.
You mean the kawaii stuff?
Yeah.
And it's secretly horny?
Oh god, it's delicious.
So what do you guys think of the whole, like when they first get into the land and the whole idea of it, not just being a sex themed amusement park, but the idea of it being like no guilt or hatred? going back to your form as an original being, or y'all think that's something we've already like covered well enough?
I think we've done that.
Okay.
Enough, more or less.
Back to your primal.
Also,
feelings.
right there, that girl with the glasses looks like the teacher from mech anime harem, not Date Alive.
Which one are you talking about?
Oh, Daestra, if you, we can probably do it, not in this episode, but we will more than likely get back to Mizuryu Kei in another episode at some point.
Infinite Stratos. Looks like the teacher.
When I was reading this, I saw the hot dog, and we were gonna get food, and I was like, Josh, we should get some hot dogs.
Wiener Schnitzel was right there. Or was it? No, I'm high. I don't know.
yeah, it's close by.
Is it? Okay.
That's the first scene as them being introduced to the park.
Whose dick is next? Free touch.
Oh, the idea that anybody can touch you. I wanted to know how far that is. Is it just like anybody can like put their hand on your lap? Or
Okay,
is
so
it
Since it's a sex theme park, I have to assume
like fit
kids.
hand stimulation kind of
do
thing?
the previous ones assume the later ones assume the previous?
I would assume, because how are you gonna have sex without touching?
No, but just like some people were fine with sex but not kissing.
Oh, true. Good point. That's a good point.
You stick all three of
Yeah,
them
it's just
on you.
like I don't.
I think you'd have
Well, because
to
it's true,
stick-
right? It's because like I've read that like brothels and stuff like that. Like some women who work at a brothel, you cannot pay them to kiss you because to them kissing is an act of intimacy.
Yeah.
And this is strictly a sex or sexual relationship. There's not meant to be intimacy.
I think the stickers represent the bases. Oh yeah, actually that makes more sense.
So yeah. Well,
But then, what if you don't want to make out with anybody, but you do want to have sex? I guess they do talk about consent quite often. Like, even when they have the free sex stickers, they still
What
ask.
the fuck is happening out there?
I don't
it's
know.
just
They
the
get
neighbor's
like really
dogs.
excited over
It's
something.
it's the doggy version of this. We're
Oh no.
That's like some fucking El Cucuy shit. Like,
Nah,
should we do something?
No, this happens
Do you
all the
want to
time.
close
so
the door?
When you get enough dogs like that happens. That was a huge problem in Olafson's house all the damn time. They would just like one of the dogs would start, and then the rest would just chime in. So we had to go out there and tell them to shut the fuck up.
Can you close the door?
Yeah.
So why do you think in this story in particular, or just in Mizuryu Kei's work, that consent is such a big part of it?
Mainly so we don't ever ask that question.
So they don't get sued.
Just like,
I mean,
okay,
'cause like
but
I
where's
said,
the
there-
consent? It's just like, okay, you know what? Here it is, explicitly all the damn time. There is consent. Shut up.
Well, like I said
Okay.
earlier, I do think it's an interesting part of world building that they consider that.
Again, it's because so many people ask that about other
What are you-
works.
Was that what?
What are you looking at? His junk?
Oh no.
No, he's looking at the live stream.
Oh.
I was like, as long as they can't see me.
No, they can't see
That
you.
is my brother.
Is the chupacabra thing over here? I think so, because we're close to Mexico.
Yes, the chupacabra is a thing. It is not too much of a problem here in El Paso because we don't have a lot of goats.
We do get La Llorona, though.
Yes, we do
La
have a
Llorona.
lot of canals, and well, I'm not the
We were
scariest
talking
thing
about
walking.
that when you and I saw the preview for the La Llorona movie.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why's La Llorona going after a white family? What did they do?
Well, they
Someone told them the story, they didn't believe it.
Wait, what do you mean? What did they do? Is that implying that being Hispanic is in itself a sin?
No, but like-
the La Llorona typically only goes after Hispanic families for some reason.
Because they're the only ones that know the legend.
Yeah, I know. So that's why to me it's like why did you?
Why would you follow them? The
Why
white people?
It's like the idea was like
or what is it? Where does it take place?
We don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, because
But to me it just seems like the idea that like I'm trying very hard to say this without sounding like an idiot.
Say it like Xavier. Just
Well, there's like
racist.
Well, like there's like the idea. It's like, do they think people would not want to see it if a Hispanic family was involved, kind of thing?
fair.
We mean
I would-
whitewashing?
Yeah, basically the
Just
idea
white-
that
yeah, okay, I
Like
get that.
whitewashing it so.
Yeah.
like there's the to me part of it.
Basically, what you're saying is, if a Mexican family is being attacked, people aren't going to be. It's going to be like, whatever.
Yeah, there's also
And it's
there's also the idea that like other legends, other monsters from other cultures are scarier to people. It's like the whole ring thing, right? Like the ring is like a Japanese myth, and it's scary because it's not your culture, kind of thing.
I think, well, okay, it's entirely possible he could have done that for marketing. I would not put it past him. However, I would also say if I were writing a horror movie, I would not want my audience to think, well, I'm not Hispanic, so I don't have to. That's not something I ever have to think about. Ideally, you want them to think that the best case scenario is that they leave the theater thinking, what if that's really out there? What if this could happen? You wouldn't want a potential audience member to think they were safe just because they were the wrong shade of
I think
melanin.
another part of it is for things like that, you want the victims to be completely unaware of such legends. Because you know there's going to be the grandma is just like, all you have to do is this, mijo. Thanks, grandma. And then boom, problem solved. But with the white family, they don't know anything.
But going to the idea of consent, Darryl said consent is more attractive to most people than not.
That it is to me. If
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, that's true, right?
it is to me.
Well, I mean, no consent is kind of a deal breaker, right?
Like going to the idea
when
that
we were
in
reading-
hentai, there's a lot of hentai where consent is never brought up, and at some point it's implied that it's non-consensual, but she likes it. She likes the way it feels, so it's kind of consensual at the end.
When we were reading the onsen one, or yeah, I think so, and it was the young girl with the older guy, and we were talking about that and I had the issue about how there was consent after the fact, and
Yes.
I didn't like that. Like, it turned me off. I was reading it and it was like, ugh, I don't feel like this. But with this, it was just kind of like, well, there's just consent flat out on the board, easy to tell what is happening, what somebody wants, what they don't want.
Hey, sure, we've been over this. I don't care about the sex anymore.
Oh, but also relating to that idea, Daestra said, I think that consent might also be a way to show that you can be a degenerate and responsible and moral. Sexual freedom is a running theme. Even lighthearted vanilla stuff has non-consent stuff in it, even if the tag isn't there.
Yeah.
Is consent the tag?
I don't think so. That'd be kind of sad if it was. It's like, oh, you want your porn to be consensual? We can cover that
It's
for
like,
you.
yeah, I guess we have vanilla consensual hand holding, you fucking degenerate.
Strangely, on a lot of websites, vanilla's not a tag. I think that's weird.
Do you want to start comparing to the...
Well, does anybody have anything here on the manga that you specifically want to talk about?
The women. Okay, the guy, what is that outfit?
No, the one the pretty boy's wearing?
It's an
Yeah.
extra cropped crop top.
It's a
thigh
collarbone
highs.
warmer.
How did you get that on?
Also, did they just give you these at the door?
It's like putting a shirt on. I said that as if I knew what that was. Well, actually, it's kind of... I've worn something like that for dance, obviously with more clothes underneath it. But it's just like putting a shirt on.
You know what's interesting visually?
What?
In the manga, they left the condoms visible. In the anime,
They turn transparent.
Yeah, they turn transparent, like holographic fucking condoms or some shit. Or what is it called? I'm not sure what the word is, but it's not holographic. But yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but
Holographic, just like,
basically,
yes!
it's not there.
My special edition holographic penis.
My penis is super rare.
Daryl also said it's not that hard to be a freak and be nice.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, true.
Yeah, just look at what was that name of that serial killer that had to check if the
door was open or not, honey. You know more about serial killers than I do.
There's plenty actually.
Wasn't.
There was
Was it
one that
Bundy?
was nicknamed
No.
like the vampire because he used to drain people of their blood and then drink it later. But he also had a lot of mental problems, so he would just like go see if the doors were open. It's also just like a common people that are robbing your house. They just go around and see which door's open.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fred. Love my active camouflage prophylactic.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
it's not bad to. It's not hard to be nice and a freak.
There's a saying for that if you
Yep.
haven't.
Well, thank you for listening to this while you're at work, Daryl. If anything, this makes the day pass by faster. I was gonna say, talking about old men, like obviously they're not really shown here, but there is the idea that she, like the friend with the blonde hair, likes to sleep with old guys. Thankfully, there's plenty of old guys at the park that want to do it with her.
That is the thing. If this were to happen, there would be this massive confluence of people with different fetishes.
Yeah.
So theoretically, yeah, there's something there for everybody.
And I would assume that different attractions are where you would go for your own fetish. No?
Good point.
Yeah.
Also, the part
I
where
did like the haunted house there at the end.
Oh.
It's just a fucking orgy with capes.
the haunted house was kind of like
Ooh, spooky sex.
the haunted house in in Disneyland, but also with a little aspect of Splash Mountain, because on Splash Mountain, when you're falling on the big slide, it's like the pictures, and then this, it's like, we're gonna take pictures of you guys, so you can take them whenever you guys want.
The moment of it is like, what is your O face? And some people have better O faces than others.
And you're gonna get to take pictures. Like, I wonder if they're gonna have them displayed on TVs after you're done with that, like on your way out.
Daestra, put it on the overhead.
Are there any panels that you guys specifically wanted to point to or talk about?
No, just some of the outfits. Like, okay, so
The outfits are silly. I just like the fact that they were equal opportunity silly.
There's a lot of thigh highs everywhere. It's great. The part where that Chaz mentioned, where the girl's just like grinding on the pole
Oh,
thing.
that's like right at the end. There we
In
go.
this, she's basically grinding on the space between the panels, and I thought that was kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
nifty.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
The space between the panels.
It's
Huh.
Fourth
nifty.
dimensional grinding.
I didn't notice that.
I also wanted to point out, this is one of the few works where you can see a male Ahagao. Right there.
No shit.
So is he wearing?
I just kind of thought he just had a creepy face constantly. Because he came off a little weird, especially in the anime where...
That guy right there.
Is he wearing what?
Is he wearing?
Penis necklace?
No. I mean,
Because he is.
no. Is he wearing chaps?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, but see, they look very clothy here.
Assless chaps.
All chaps are assless. First of all,
Well,
let's get that very clear.
well, I didn't
As a
know
Texan,
that.
you should know.
I'm not a Texan.
If I just wore chaps, you'd see my ass.
I'm sorry, but I'm not a Texan.
Do you live in Texas?
Yeah.
You're Texan.
Okay.
It's like the Camarilla. You don't have a choice. I tried opting out years ago.
What were you gonna say? You're Mexican?
Yeah.
Where's your bandito hat? Either way, you get a 6-shooter. It doesn't matter.
Welcome to the Wonderland.
Free touch.
I also like the idea that they give you like a little sticker pack for when you want to change it out. Like, yeah, I'm kind of done. Just kissing now, please.
So I want to imagine there's like some one really fat dude who just has touch, and he's just like on his wheelchair, just like touch me.
You mean just like freaking hedonism bot
Yeah.
in Futurama?
I would also think you could just, if say you don't want to kiss, maybe put a free kiss sticker on, but then with a marker of notes on
No
top.
kissing, only
None of
touching.
this.
Well, I feel like it is kind of implied with the, men usually use the free sex sticker right away, that the greater serves the lesser. But it would make more sense in context to wear 2 or 3, depending what you actually wanted.
Yeah, he's like, no, only penetration, sir. Don't grope me.
Oh, well, in the
Yeah,
middle,
because
yeah.
I want to try it.
Yeah.
It could
It's
be.
really sweet.
It's like, I'm not comfortable with you sticking
Cordial?
your hand down there, but I'm here for a reason. Let's get this done.
Don't stroke my cock.
No,
Suck it
Daestra
off.
said, what about the intimacy between the two main characters towards the end?
That guy was an idiot. I'm sorry, but there was nothing in either version of this. What was her name? Like Ami or something? Am I imagining that?
No, I think I wrote it down. No, I didn't.
Oh, they never say their names.
Yeah, they do. The very beginning.
For some-
Yuki
They
and
each call each other that. Like,
Yeah.
the friends call each other their name.
I guess it's the young guy.
So
who
why
never
is
says
this
his
man
name.
an idiot for having an open relationship, Charlie?
I didn't say he was an idiot for having an open relationship. When I first saw the anime. Now it's a little better in the manga, but when I first saw the anime, when they were originally talking and negotiating a relationship, I was like, "There's no way this guy is going to get what he wants out of this relationship." In the manga, it's a little better. They discuss their parameters, and the parameters are a little more open. Also, in the manga, she actually tells him, "Hey, I'm screwing like 10 different guys." In the anime, it's more like, "I'm sorry, I'm so horny, I can't help it. I'm gonna fuck this dude and probably 3 other guys." So, but I just feel like Ani said, this is not the place you come for relationships. And if you try to find a relationship here, it's not gonna go.
I mean,
But you know what you're getting into if you do.
He got what he wanted.
Yeah.
He wanted somebody to have sex with and have a relationship. She just happens to be doing that with other people.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like she has the relationship with him, just sex with more people.
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends in open relationships who seem perfectly fine with it.
That they seem perfectly fine with them, but
Well,
deep
like-
down it eats at
Like,
them.
as far as I know.
Like, more power to them. I'm not saying it can't work, but I've never seen it work. I've seen people try the open relationship thing, and it just always falls apart. There's always negative feelings. There's always neglect. So it's not something I would ever sign on for.
It takes a certain kind of person.
I also like that the balloons look like sperm.
Yeah, I mentioned that to Xavier earlier.
Again,
They
I've
look
never
like
seen
sperm.
And they're
pointy
flying towards the
sperm.
egg that is the sun.
It's a cone shape.
Yeah.
kind of, or an egg shape.
I think there were tits and sperm.
Alright, I'm not gonna put the hentai on the TV just in case the audio ends up in the stream. Probably don't want that.
For like 2 seconds.
The audio, I had so many issues with the audio. It was gross.
Oh, why?
Was
it because the moment where they show like the interior shot of the penis and the
it
vagina?
just got so loud.
I don't think it got loud. I think what happened was like they made it sound like it was like an echo chamber kind of effect.
I just didn't like it. It was just too like.
I think you just don't like animated hentai.
Maybe.
I'm just so used to it, so it doesn't bother me.
Didn't bother me.
I don't know.
I'm just used to hearing squish, 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 splurt.
So-
like,
Other than like story.
Although they, again, when he pulled out of Yuki, I think the dark-haired one, and there's just that waterfall, they threw some love at the audio department on that one. There was a budget.
Oh shit.
And then like when the two that end up in a relationship are together, I don't know if you guys noticed, there's always like really soft music, really like nice.
Because it's so
soft, and then
I enjoyed the fact that they did what I thought was clearly an allusion to the classic 70s porno music right when they get to the rest area.
Yeah.
The rest
It was
cottage.
porn music.
They weren't resting too much.
So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Not necessarily narrative differences where like words are different. Well, translation because it plays a part of it. But I didn't necessarily want to bring up like differences between how the story is presented because there's very slight minor changes between this and between the actual ero-manga and the ero-anime. But like, what do you think changes when the work is adapted from manga to anime like this?
Oh, the guy's friend's face isn't as predatory.
No. Or you're
I
looking
would
at it
say
on your
he's
phone.
more predatory in the anime.
Well,
Like,
no,
when-
he
Well,
absolutely is, but he doesn't look. His face isn't so.
When he leaned into the pink-haired chick, I was like, "You're okay with that, right?" I was like, "Dude."
I think he's more predatory because you're accompanied with
He's
the music.
trying-
When he's on there, the music
Like
is
it's almost
aggressive.
heavy. I noticed
Yeah,
that. It's the
yeah.
only time the music has like a guitar riff in it where it's like dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun dun dun.
Yeah, when he's on there, the music is faster paced. It's more aggressive, and then when he's the focal point, it's like
He's trying
a
to
soft
be
little song.
He's trying to be more flirty, and then he gets more hardcore because he's the rougher kind of like lover, I guess.
He's the typical fuckboy.
So even though his face isn't as crazy looking, the music accompanied to with
because
it makes your
no, go ahead.
no go ahead.
I was gonna say in the manga he's referred to as being a flashy guy. In the anime he's called a playboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you all think about that scene at the end where they're talking about like how men make love differently? Where she's like, "Oh, you're gentle, so that's nice. He just happens to have a bigger penis and he's rougher."
I have modes.
I mean, I just think that
My
that's-
penis has different size settings. No.
This is weird. Why are you just watching?
I'm watching it because I'm just like.
He needs the reference.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Are we really? Is it weird for him to watch?
I'm watching
porn?
hentai.
I
We were
wasn't
talking about it.
expecting I wasn't
This is
expecting
nothing
it.
more different than like film
like
criticism. I'm just like,
literally,
oh, yeah.
I have a like I have a friend that I knew, and I'm still friends with that person. I'm not gonna say.
Okay,
say
see, with that
their
hair
name.
color, she looks like Ryder now.
I like that hair color,
From Fate Stay
The
Night.
purple.
I'm not gonna say their name, but like I used to stay over their house like all the time, like overnight, and they would just freaking just randomly put on like porn all the time. And then they would go fuck off into the room and then masturbate, come back, watch more porn, and then proceed to do it again. While I either waited outside or something.
I mean, I put porn on Kyle's computer like all the time.
Do you remember
That was a group activity.
So that's why
Do
it's.
you remember that one time you put that one manga still of like 8 dudes fucking and set it as a
Oh,
wallpaper?
that's right. That was great.
So that's why, like, I was looking at Xavier watching this going, like, it's not weird. Because I'm so used to it, so I'm
It was
like...
just so. We watched it. We both watched it on my TV here. It was a little weird, Josh. It was just kind of like ugh, and then the sound. It was too much.
Like I said, what is it that you seem to not like about the
that should
the
have been
story when
fun
it's
for you guys
animated
on IE.
versus when it's in a comic form? What do you think it is that you?
It
'cause-
seems more aggressive to me when it's animated.
It is more aggressive.
It's more like in your face. and it's loud, and the noises are weird and squishy.
I think it depends on the type of person to appreciate the anime over the manga.
So I guess
I actually appreciated the anime over the manga, which is weird for me, because my entire life I've always said
We're both weirdos, right?
a good manga will always beat a good anime, and this was the first time when I haven't agreed with myself.
I did have a question on what they wear. The girls wear on their on top of their vaginas. It just kind of looks like a little piece of paper. Is that supposed to be a dental dam?
I think it's basically like a
It's like a
vagina
tease.
pasty.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just tape.
Unless you know you're masturbating, in which case.
Yeah.
It's Flex Seal.
Flex Seal. Oh man, that'd be awful. Never use Flex Seal as a condom. It works. It works.
Wait, are you talking from experience?
But where would it go?
What other
It
things
doesn't inflate like a
are there that you
regular
tend to
one.
notice that you stick out to you more? Maybe go ahead.
This originally got me started thinking, because we've talked about, you know, how they have to condense so much world building and so much story because they only have 32 pages to work with.
Mm-hmm.
They condensed so much more in the anime, whereas in the manga they actually ended up explaining more things. And it kind of made sense, because when something is animated, I guess you have to devote more of your limited time to actually showing the slamming.
Yeah, because these are only like what?
15 minutes.
Yeah, 15, 16 minutes. That's you need to get everything done. Versus, you know, a manga, you can take your time, because obviously
You can stay on the page as long as you want.
yeah.
I find it interesting that the first thing everybody went to was the music as something that you notice. Because to me, a lot of the music in this seems really kind of soft and playful, except for the part where the
friend
the
is
friend
girl
is
was
having
getting
sex.
railed, yeah.
What?
What do you think it is about like music that seems to stick out to everybody the most? Like when it comes.
Well, let me turn it up so everyone else can hear. Wait, does this have an OST?
Well, because
It might.
music sets the tone for everything.
Yeah, it sets like
Yeah.
the mood and stuff.
I mean, we know there's game masters that use music in RPGs. And
Yeah.
stuff, so.
Well, what do you think it was about? Like, why do you think the music director or the director, if they picked the audio for this, what do you think made them want to pick that softer kind of music over?
Because
The
he's
more-
supposed to be like a gentle guy, no?
Yeah,
but
like
throughout the whole story, it's mostly gentle music, with the exception of that one part.
it's supposed to be like Disneyland. It's a playful theme park, literally playful.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting, right? How like you get the playful atmosphere is more evocative
Yeah.
because the music is there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, and like, you know, sometimes the girls are just sitting there and the boobs are jumping on their own. It's like they have their own gravitational point. And it bothers me because that's not how it works.
I mean, that's just
So
most
there's a
There-
Nightcore version of the opening of this.
Don't play it.
Why did you do that?
They're fans, damn it.
Okay, yeah, but just like I'm not. I don't hate Nightcore, right? There's some things I prefer Nightcore. That's a very small percentage of things. But a hentai opening? Really?
Well, Daestra is saying that a lot of hentai have OSTs, and that Angel Blade's OST is a banger. That's an old one.
Why does anyone do anything on the internet?
What is wrong with these people?
Brainworms.
So yeah.
No, yeah. Is there anything else you want to point out about like animation versus like the manga? Like we talked about how like it seems like there. I think it was Daestra earlier or somebody else in the chat talked about how they felt like the manga had better portrayal of motion as compared to the anime, despite the fact that the manga didn't have movement. I think part of the fact is that it seems like the animation wasn't terribly expensive or well done.
Yeah, I know that
And
the
Mizuryu Kei is a very good artist with portraying like physical action and motion.
Yeah.
the motion animation seems familiar to me.
Yeah, like I said, I think Yusuf, Darryl, and I talked about this one time about like how a lot of studios, especially hentai studios, they just want to crank them out, and that's why they're like 15 minutes, and the animation is kind of recycled a lot. And
Yeah,
It sounds a lot like the Kindle self-publishing smut
no,
business model.
yeah,
Just fucking make a shitload of them, sell them for like a nickel.
Though to be fair, like even the lowest effort they put on some of this, still better than some of like animation that actual anime gets.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
Also, it's unbelievable that none of those pasties ever fell off.
they had really good adhesive.
Yeah.
Like, look
Go
at
to
that.
Gen Con.
Flex Seal.
Oh, not that. That's a penis.
That is a penis.
I was gonna say, go to Gen Con and they have the people who do the nerd burlesque teach classes on how to make your own pasties and stuff like that.
And how to twirl them.
Oh yeah, and how to twirl.
Because you can't just shake your tits and twirl 'em. There's a rhythm you gotta get
That
going.
sounds like a fun class, babe.
Did you take that class?
I did not take that class. It was females only. Discriminatory, but I thought we were over that, right?
What if you wanted to learn that?
It's like, well, I guess fuck me then. It was 2018, people. I thought we were past this.
Maybe it's
2019
because
now.
you can show your nipples on the internet, but
They
women can't.
So they're just like, no, this is for the people that are oppressed and can't show their nipples on the internet.
Daestra said, I think that the manga is direct expression from the brain of the artist to the page, whereas anime has numerous people behind it.
Makes sense. And
Master
Fred
and
says,
Commanders.
file a suit, you'll win.
He doesn't want to do that though. He loves nerd burlesque,
I do. It was pretty great.
especially the girl who did what is it, Smoke?
Yeah, she did Smog. Oh god, that was fantastic. And then I went to the other one. You didn't go with that one. To that one, did
No,
you?
I only went to the first one.
That one.
I can't not
That
look
was-
at it.
Yeah, well, it's right here. Yeah.
Because they're boinging. It's so fun.
I do agree. I actually like that bit right there just because the shading is moving as the girl's body's
Yeah,
moving.
that's pretty good.
That was one of the points where it's like, oh, that's actually pretty good animation.
Yeah, it's got some pretty damn good shading.
But
And
yeah,
then
like
there's the
some of the movement.
There's
isn't
the
great.
X-ray.
All right, so I'm gonna start wrapping this episode up. So usually what I do is we talk about a tag or the artist, right, and then we try to construct our own story that follows similar rules and tropes.
Oh, Lord.
However, this time, since we only really looked at one story, I want everybody to go around and try to come up your own idea for an amusement at the amusement park of Mizuryukei Land.
Oh man.
Amusement? Oh, that's hard.
I can do this. I can do this.
Does anybody have any good ideas, including the chat, if anybody has any ideas?
I gotta think of Disney.
Teacups, spinning teacups with dildos in the middle.
Is it like the faster you spin it, the harder the dildo goes? That's pretty impressive.
That's actually really good. Oh, you know the Dumbo ride? Just like dildos.
The Rattler, but everyone's chair is like a Sibian.
Which ones? You have to remind me what a
The
Sibian
Rattler.
is.
Sibian is the big vibrator that you straddle.
Oh, okay.
Man, did you
You
ever
have to
go?
also remind me that is the Rattler the one at Western
Bumper cars, but the cars fly.
The Rattler was the all wooden roller coaster in Six Flags. I think they took it down now because that's kind of dangerous. But it was a marvel at the
Oh,
time.
okay, I remember that.
It was
I was thinking that boat that just kind of goes like this, the pendulum boat, but
the Pharaoh's Fury. Fuck that thing. I almost died. Oh, go on.
I love
But,
the
like,
Pharaoh's Fury.
the movement of the boat kind of dictates the movement of how fast the sex is going. Does that make sense? Like,
Like, you have to have sex faster, or like...
no, like when it moves up this way, it's like this person goes in, and then when it goes in, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine having a bit of a hard time.
I have a perfect image in my brain, and I can't.
Well, now you gotta animate it.
Yeah.
So far Xavier has a really solid one with the teacup dildo one. Just a voo, voo, voo.
How about an escape room where the guys have like a keychain around their erect cocks, and women have to pleasure them to make it flaccid so they can get the keys off. But they need to figure out which ones to pleasure via the puzzles of the escape room.
Or it's better you just put the key in the penis, right? It's like Saw.
Oh no!
We went different directions with that, Xavier, and now I'm a little concerned.
Oh man, no. We used to think about fucked up Saw situations back in the day. That's not even the worst one.
Okay, I got one.
Okay.
The one that lifts you up really, really high, and then it kind of hits.
Just drops down?
Yeah, but
I
you
was
drop
thinking
into a
of that one.
dildo.
That
Okay.
sounds painful.
Yeah, they would have to. You'd have because like they would have to break at the right time, or you're just gonna be like, oh. Cause like your butthole's not ready, right? You're clenching. You're clenching when you drop.
Well, it's already a little bit inside.
Okay, so it's already there, just a little
Just
bit.
like a little bit. So it's definitely gonna go in the right hole.
That's similar to what I was saying with like the Dumbo kind of ride, where it spins you around and it goes up and down, kind of like there would just be a
Ooh.
dildo in the seats.
I've got a good one. Laser tag, but the laser activates vibrating panties.
Oh, I
like
kinda
that one.
that. Yeah.
Have you got any so far, Melinda?
The Dumbo one's the only one I could come up with right now.
Splash Mountain, but instead of water, it's never mind.
It's
Semen,
strawberry.
just semen everywhere.
Where did they get?
I think that's the whole theme park.
No, see all
I was
the
gonna say you could do Splash Mountain, but like at the bottom, a girl's gonna squirt in your face, kind of thing.
No, it's semen, right? And they get all the semen that's been collecting from the park, and it just goes into
so gross.
it goes into like a drainage system, and it filters into that. So
I regret saying that.
I like the idea a lot more that you're kind of coming down a ride, and someone is either gonna give you a facial or squirt in your face.
Yeah.
But
I
how
like
do
that idea.
You have to get them to do that. So what is the mechanism that you get to pleasure them that way?
No, it's just like so. There's two separate attractions, right? There's the line to squirt on people, and then there's the line to get squirted on.
Or yeah, we can
Yes,
have
but
that.
I feel like the participants.
No, but like if you're in the cart going down,
Well, look, the idea.
you have to wait. I have an idea.
Okay.
You have like a game
I love that
control.
we're arguing over the logistics of this.
Wait, you have
Well,
a
we
game
wanted
The
control.
to-
in
smartest
front of you.
hentai show on the internet, people.
Look. If you're on the cart
Alright,
going
this had to
down,
get somebody to jizz on your face.
you have to like do something on the game control thing that then gets motioned onto the person. And if you do get splashed on the on your way down, then you win.
Well, here, how about there's some sort of vibrating mechanism, either on the penis or inside the vagina, so that as the momentum is building down, as you're kind of going down the ride, vibration is increasing. So hopefully, the ideal idea is that by the time it hits the bottom, the person climaxes because the vibration is going up. So that way, they end up jizzing or squirting on your face as
Also,
the momentum is building up.
My
from the
idea
ride.
was interactive, but it's fine. Both
This
work
is
fine.
this is less of a good idea, I think, but one that probably exists there. Dildo ring toss.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like you have a woman there, and like you try to get the dildo in.
dude, you got that ride at Western Playland that you're in the little birds and then you swing it on chains.
Yeah.
Okay, same thing, but it's just bondage.
No,
That's
I know what you're talking about. There's a lot of rides that do that where you're kind of in a chair and the chair's kind of suspended by chains or a rope, right?
And you just fly
And then
around.
yeah, you fly around as it picks up speed.
Yeah.
Just that, but people being bondaged into it.
Yes.
Or that cool like rope thing.
Shibari.
Yeah. And then you're just hanging on and flying.
See,
around.
I was thinking along those lines, but again, how do you make that interactive?
I mean, it might just be for exhibition's sake.
Oh, what
just
you
want snacks.
missed, Daryl, was right now, rather than trying to come up with a story in the style of Mizuryu Kei, we're coming up with attractions for Mizuryukei Land.
Daniel, do you have any ideas?
You're free to contribute. You're here to.
He is a good Christian man, and you're trying to corrupt him. You suck.
He is not.
Catholic.
He
Okay,
is as far
first of all-
from that as you possibly can get.
No, Catholic is Christian. It's the only right Christian.
According to the Crusaders.
There's only 3 branches. All right. There's Christianity. Okay, well, there's Judaism, Christianity, Islam. That's it. If you're Catholic, you're Christian. You don't need to. If the people say they're Christian, it's probably because they're Protestant, and they're too ashamed to say that.
From my understanding, it's not that Catholics don't consider themselves Christians; that Christians don't consider Catholics other Christians, because evangelicals believe that Catholicism was.
Oh yeah, I know. They're wrong.
Okay.
Catholic
Yeah, no.
is the only way to go.
It's fucking fascinating. Evangelicals believe that Catholicism was infiltrated by Satan.
You ride at Six Flags where you're gonna shoot monsters.
Oh yeah.
You shoot devices at people,
No.
killing the plots.
Sexy taser.
So if you didn't hear that, it's a shooting game, but you're shooting, I'm assuming, dildos into people.
Well, either that or,
Headshot.
I was gonna say either that or the idea would once again be some sort of pleasure mechanic, either like vibrators on the nipples or inside of you or in the anus kind of thing. Let me go through some of the rides some of the chat came up with. Daestra said a strongman game, but you use your dick to ring a bell.
Wait. Okay. No.
Okay,
Yeah.
some people are gonna have an unfair advantage.
No. Yeah. Is it a swing down or is it a thrust in?
Wouldn't that hurt?
I mean,
I
obviously.
I think his thrust in would probably be better, right? Just
Yeah, like
your
that's
thrusting
as
string.
powerfully as you can.
Just kind of,
Uh,
gah!
Daestra came up with have a raffle where you win being in a 50-girl harem. Let's see, coming up with the Mizuryukei Land. Okay, yeah, he's. We don't really have a limit yet. A game of Guess Who, where you match the jug to the face.
Yeah,
Just
play
like,
that.
it's just like, is
I
their
wouldn't
pubic
play that.
hair brown? Okay.
Master and Commander also said Catholics wouldn't like this part. There's an age limit.
Oh.
Daestra, I like the idea of a more carny game stuff where you can win prizes. Oh, the Commander has returned. Welcome back, Commander Vulcan.
Oh, so is it like the basketball shooting? Because I hated those. Those were unfair after a while.
I was trying to think of bumper cars, but I can't think of what you would do in the bumper car.
Oh, what about like where the women that shoot balls out of their vaginas? It's like who can get it out further.
Like ski ball? Just
Or like the basketball thing, but you have to shoot it out of your vagina.
That's a big vagina.
no.
No, but like with little
You
balls.
haven't seen the stuff I've seen online with what girls can shove up there and spit out. It's amazing.
Yeah, but at what velocity enough to be a game?
Have you not seen some of these women?
Well, that's the thing. You test it out.
I've seen-
Everyone lined
Yeah,
up.
That's your homework for when you get
Surely
home.
you remember our trip to Vietnam.
That's your homework when you get home. All right.
Well, my idea was like whack-a-mole, but like if you're a guy, you go in and the idea is that you're gonna go up and your penis is gonna come out through the hole, and then the girl has to try to get you off before you kind of plunk back down. Obviously, it's not gonna go as fast as real whack-a-mole. However, there is some sort of time limit to see. It's like, oh, how fast and how many dudes can you get off? And then obviously the guy gets the pleasure of getting jerked off.
That's just like, oh man.
Are you
this
allowed
chick-
to use hands?
I mean,
Obviously,
yeah.
yes.
You
That sounds like a lot of friction burn.
I mean, the hands, mouth, ass, just whatever you can. Get as many guys off as you can in like 5 minutes.
But the idea is like at some point the guy's penis is gonna dunk, plunk back down.
That's what it sounds like. Doom.
Yeah. Dunk.
And are there varying levels of difficulty, like depending on the size of the cock?
I mean, I think the difficulty just comes from like Darryl said, I'm up for a lactating breast expanding ride. Oh, Commander Vulcan was asking what the topic currently was.
We're thinking about rides, fun rides. I would like to see like an American Ninja Warrior,
What?
like obstacle course testing.
With like different sex positions.
Well, sex positions or just like other things to test your sexual prowess and stamina.
Well, there could be one like that Japanese game show where you know how you have to try to match your body to the board that's about to pass through.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where you get knocked off, except it's you and a partner, and you have to match the sex position. It's
A
like the
mechanical
board's about
one.
to change. Board's about to change. Switch positions.
Or like a three-legged race, but it's a wheelbarrow.
Commander Vulcan said a mechanical bull fucking machine.
Yeah, that's a solid one.
You have to stay on without getting off. Nice.
Oh, you have to stay on, but it's a dildo that you have to hold on to, like inside.
Hold
of
on. Ah! Hey, you can't use your hands or legs. Just your butthole or vagina.
Which do you trust more?
And there's the guy that's gonna have an obvious advantage, right? He's only been training his butt. He's only needed to train his butt.
Daestra said there
Kegels.
was a game in American Pie where they put buckets on two guys' dongs and who took Viagra and slowly poured water into the bucket to make it heavier.
Oh, there could be the women weightlifting from their vagina. That's a thing that happens.
That is a thing.
So
Just fucking
Yeah, Dan, you haven't seen
Kegel
that?
weightlifting.
yeah, that's like a genuine thing.
So it's been an hour and a half. I think we've had a fun episode, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this Mizuryukei Land centric episode. And if you like it and you want to hang out and talk about hentai with us, there is, I'm pointing at the right direction. Discord link right over there if you're not already talking to us over there.
Dab, Josh.
No. I'm not trying to embarrassing any small children. I'm nobody's parent, so dabbing would just be sad for me. Oh, Commander Vulcan came up with something related to wall climbing. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in, and we hope
Wall
you have fun
climbing?
with us.
While climbing with dildos.
Oh, apparently there is a legit porn series called World Orgasm Championships.
What?
Anyways, Chaz, what other stuff do we need to tell them about? Patreon, social media.
If you really, really like what we do, we have a Patreon that you can throw into, and it helps us get better equipment. We'll be investing in some new microphones lately, or sometime soon. We're going to upgrade the camera after that at some point. There's other social media down below. If you want to talk to me, I'm usually on Twitter. We've got Facebook. We've got a whole ton of shit. If you want to watch us play tabletop games or Dream Daddy or what have you, there's a Twitch down below. If you prefer listening to your porn rather than viewing it, we have a SoundCloud. SoundCloud goes to iTunes, a whole bunch of different things. Please like and subscribe. And this was 100% Ani's idea. Flap on.
Oh my god.
Thank you all for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.